Hello everyone and welcome to another excellent edition of the Classic Video Game Channel. Last week I discussed one of my favorite video games of all time, Spyro the Dragon. As stated, the game was a critical and commercial success, so naturally a sequel was expected. While on Halloween of 1999, Insomniac delivered just that, Spyro 2 RIPTO'S Rage in North America, or as it was known in Europe, Spyro 2 Gateway to Glimmer. Just like its predecessor, it was a hit and even garnered better feedback than the original from some reviewers. The game didn't simply ride the coattails of its big brother and expect to be loved by everyone though. No, instead it brought tons of new advancements to the gameplay aspect, along with a completely new and original story. However, it did know to keep enough of the key aspects of the game the same, making it feel far from foreign. In fact, it felt just like a perfect follow-up should, adding just enough new features to keep the game fresh. Spyro 2 did a terrific job at being a sequel, so let's delve right into all the details to really find out why. Let's start off with the story of Spyro 2. It actually picks up a year after the original. Spyro and the rest of the dragons in the Artisan world are experiencing some rainy weather, so him and Sparks decide to take a vacation to sunny Dragon Shores for some relaxation.
Is this rain ever gonna stop? I've forgotten what the sun looks like. We should go on vacation. Somewhere warm, somewhere sunny. Dragon Shores! Yeah!
At the same time, in the realm of Avalar, some local inhabitants, Hunter, Allure, and the Professor, who you'll get to all know soon, have been hard at work on a new portal. However, when Spyro enters the Dragon Shores portal, he actually ends up exiting through the portal in Avalar.
It's working! It's working! I've got a dragon! Whoa, rough landing.
Next we see Spyro, Sparks, Hunter, and Allura, and the Professor confronted by the game's antagonist, Ripto, along with his two monster minions, Gulp and Crush. Ripto immediately destroys the portal in a fit of rage, proclaiming that there shall be no dragons in Avalar. However, he soon retreats, being rendered powerless after Gulp swallows his magic scepter. Allura then tells Spyro that it's his job to help save Avalar from Ripto's rule. After this cutscene ends, the game begins, and you'll quickly notice that you're actually in your first level, Glimmer, since this is where all the action has been taking place. At the beginning of the stage, you are greeted by a jump cutter, and he tells how his home, Glimmer, has been overrun by a group of lizards, assumably sent by Ripto. Just like in the previous game, it is your job to kill these enemies and rescue the stolen treasure. However, a few new goals have been added in. First, perhaps the most obvious, is the collection of orbs. Throughout each level, there are a few challenges given to you by the world's inhabitants to complete. These challenges can range from really easy to pretty difficult. Once you complete one of these challenges, you are rewarded an orb. These orbs are used by the Professor to power various portals so you can advance in the game. Another new aspect of the game is the collection of talismans. Once you reach the end of a level, you'll be awarded with one of these talismans by one of the stage's inhabitants, and a portal to the current home world will appear. These talismans are pretty cool though, in that they pertain to each level's environment. For example, in Glimmer, where the gem cutters reside, the talisman is a pickaxe. In Breeze Harbor, a level later in the game, the talisman is an anchor. So with all these new objectives for our lovable little dragon to complete, there must be some nifty new maneuvers he can do, right? Of course there are. Many levels feature new power gates which aid in completing many orb challenges. When Spyro walks through these gates, he is given a special ability for a limited amount of time, such as Super Flame or Infinite Flight. Spyro is also taught to hover by Hunter to get a few extra inches at the end of a glide. This move becomes very crucial, very quick. Also in this game, Spyro gets the ability to finally swim, along with being able to climb and perform a very useful head bash maneuver. These cool new additions don't come without a price, and a bit of time however. Among the great new characters in this game, there is a not so great one you will notice right away, and that is Moneybags. Moneybags does basically what his name suggests. Take all your hard-earned gems in exchange for a favor. Throughout many a level, you will spot him and be forced to pay a price to advance in the level, such as giving him 500 gems to lay down a bridge for you to get over to what was an inaccessible yet required area of a level. By using a difficult double jump technique, you are actually able to bypass some encounters with him, but you'll end up needing him eventually.
I hope we meet again, when you have even more gems.
In the Avalar realm, there are 3 homeworlds, Summer Forest, Autumn Plains, and Winter Tundra. In each of these homeworlds, you are able to buy a new skill off Moneybags, starting by gaining the ability to swim in Summer Forest. However, you will notice that even in this homeworld, there are some gems or orbs that can only be reached with climbing. This means that in contrast to its predecessor, RIPTO'S Rage introduces some new backtracking. However, it is pretty well balanced and is rarely irritating. As stated, there are 3 homeworlds, which may seem like small potatoes to the original, but have no fear because each world has anywhere between 6 and 11 levels to complete, including flight levels, along with new and revamped boss battles, which are now mandatory to advance in the game. Although there are gems and orbs to collect in these 3 homeworlds, there are no talismans to game, and no enemies either, offering a safe haven for Spyro to recuperate between levels. Now back to those new mandatory bosses. The first one you encounter is Crush. After you defeat him and free Summer Forest from RIPTO'S rule, you move on to Gulp in the Autumn Plains world. Lastly, at the end of the final homeworld, Winter Tundra, you are confronted by Ripto himself in one of the most epic duels in Spyro's history. This boss battle is actually pretty difficult, and although I'm able to just about consistently beat it now, it took me years to finally get past it. Another thing you may notice about this game is there are a lot more cutscenes in it. In fact, each level starts with a humorous cutscene introducing you to that stage's inhabitants, who you befriend and help. In turn, you definitely get the feeling of there being a much larger amount and vaster array of characters in this game compared to the original. Gameplay-wise, nothing much can be said since the controls are just about the same as the original. As for the new maneuvers, the controls are as follows. To swim, simply hop in the water and press square to submerge yourself and start swimming underwater. For climbing, simply jump at a climbable surface and Spyro will automatically cling on. From here, use the D-pad to control moving left, right, up, and down. Lastly, for the new head bash maneuver, just jump up and press triangle. Also, to hover, at the end of a glide, press the triangle button as well. As for graphics go, Spyro 2 RIPTO'S Rage looks just about the same as the original, perhaps a tad bit better. For some reason I feel Spyro looks just a bit better in this version though. Overall, all the worlds look fantastic and definitely draw you right into the game just like its predecessor did. Music-wise, Stuart Copeland returns and creates another outstanding score that fits each level perfectly. All in all, Spyro 2 RIPTO'S Rage is a fantastic sequel to an already great game. Add in just enough to keep it fresh and make players come back. The much more deep and cutscene driven story was a welcome addition that definitely pulled you into the game even more. Combine that with tons of new characters with great dialogue, beautiful graphics, excellent level design, awesome new gameplay aspects, and another top-notch soundtrack by none other than Stuart Copeland, and you have yourself a very worthwhile sequel. I highly recommend if you're going to pick up any Spyro game, you pick up this one, since it really does have it all. Well, that's it for this edition of Classic Video Game Channel. I'll see you guys next week for the review of Spyro 3 Year of the Dragon.
Thank goodness you broke that door down for me. I thought I'd be stuck in here forever. I found this fancy orb in here. Please take it.